maybe that means it's time for us to move on to...
Yes, our favourite segment, Lorehammer or Yourhammer. Oh my god. It's Tom and Ben's Dumb Game, where we tell 2 tales of Warhammer lore. One is 100% accurate Lorehammer. The other is made-up nonsense Yourhammer. Which is which? We must decide.
Yeah, only you can decide. I don't know.
No, you decide.
You decide. Okay, great.
So I've got one about Sigmar.
Sigmar.
So Sigmar wasn't always the god of the universe who commanded the Golden Stormcast Eternal Boys.
What?
Once upon a time, he was a man in Warhammer who founded the Empire and killed some orcs and skelly men. But did you know the story of his birth?
No.
On the day Sigmar was born, the twin-tailed comet flew through the sky and heralded the coming of the Savior who would die for our sins. But his tribe was attacked by orcs, and as the orcs were killing all the tribesmen, the orc warlord broke through to the chieftain's wife, who was in labor and giving birth at the exact same time. Sigmar's father leapt in the way and dueled the orc war boss, defeated him, chopped him with the big hammer, defeated the war boss, and all the other orcs ran away crying. And then as the war boss was defeated, his blood splurged everywhere, just as Sigmar was being born. And so as soon he was basically immediately baptized in orc warlord blood.
Wow.
The moment he was born, signifying great deeds for this young boy.
Okay, that's pretty good, pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one tale.
I thought you were gonna say the baby reached out and grabbed the orc and beat it as it was born or something. I thought that's where it was gonna go.
Extra silly. The baby beat the orc war boss.
The baby killed the orc war boss somehow. But your story is good too.
Yeah, baptized in orc blood. Like a true hero.
Wow.
Or we can have a story of do you remember this man?
Heinrich Himmler.
Heinrich Himmler, the Lich Master.
Yeah, I've heard of him once or twice.
Familiar.
Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with old Heinrich.
Old HK.
Old HK.
He's a friend of the show.
He's a friend. He's a dear friend. I love Heinrich Himmler a lot. He's a cool dude.
So did you know that Heinrich Himmler was once raised a mighty army of the undead, but was defeated by all the goodies ganging up against him?
Classic.
Meanies.
Classic story.
He fled into the mountains, weakened and pathetic, dying of old age. He'd lost all his power and all his magic books. He was doomed until he came across the tomb of Krell. Krell, the powerful Chaos Warrior. He made a dark bargain with the Chaos Gods. They restored to him his power, but only for as long as he continued to sacrifice lives and drain their life. He was now forever cursed. So what he decided to do is, before he built back his whole army, he went to the nearest little town in the mountains, and he set up a system where he would get, basically every time he killed someone, he'd get a day of life. So he wanted to save up a whole bunch of days. He didn't just go there and slaughter everyone, because that would just give him 100 days. Rubbish. So he went to all these towns and he set them up to send him a tithe. Every month, every town had to send him 10 people.
Okay.
And he did that for 100 years. To the point where these towns were never growing and constantly sending off all their if you went over a certain age, they were you go in tribute now, you've hit your age 30.
Logan's
run it.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Great.
Once you hit your 30th birthday, you had to go and see the Lich Master.
You take part in Carnival and the Lich Master's there. Okay, great.
And he sucks the life out of you.
Cool.
Until one day, all the little towns are sick of his reign of terror, because they can't ever grow and be prosperous this constant drain on their society. So they decide to like Weekend at Bernie's him, and they send like a dead person that they pretend is alive, and they like put makeup on him, and they carry him along, and they make up all these excuses about like why he's so like janky. And Heinrich like tries to suck the life out of the dead guy, and that sort of backfires and like drains him of all his power, and he becomes weak and feeble again, and has to like flee back into the mountains before the angry mob pitchforks him to death.
Wow. Well, I love that it's got both Logan's Run and Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah. I feel like trying to scam a legendary necromancer with like an undead Weekend at Bernie's kind of trick is not the way to go. I feel like they're pretty good at telling if something is alive or not alive.
Yeah, but maybe he's cocky, right? He's like been ruling this kingdom for 100 years. And he's surrounded by zombies and skeletons and shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you forget to check traps.
That's true. Yeah, after 100 years.
You get complacent.
Wow. Okay. So does he have Krell with him this whole time as well?
Yeah, it's like
Krell's just hanging out.
Trusted lieutenant.
Just.
Got another batch of oldies for you.
Okay, great. Love it. Welcome, Krell. Okay, there's a lot of movies involved in this one. It sounds absolutely bonkers. The Sigmar one is, there wasn't a Benism. There were no movie references. But does that make it more believable, or
is it bait?
Is it bait? Is it so? I don't want to be mean and call it a ball hammer. But is it like a more simple story? Whereas The Weekend at Bernie's sounds great, but maybe less believable because there are two movie references in there that if you're trying to put together a quick story, think of movies. How do I put them into Warhammer? Yeah. Okay, great. Who could we Weekend at Bernie's? Sure, Heinrich Himmler. So I'm going to say I've got no idea about Sigmar's birth, and if I had read anything about it, anything that I would be able to remember, it would literally just be he was a bit like every Primarch's backstory.
Yeah,
that's what I think of as Sigmar was big and strong as a kid, and he probably was very good, and he beat a big thing when he was young, and everyone was like, "You're great," and then he went and just beat everyone. The end. That's
the classic.
Kind of what I picture for young Sigmar, and so him being splashed with blood, I hadn't heard of that, but I can picture that story that you said being a thing. I could even still believe my version where he killed the orc. Yeah. His little arm, and he throttles the orc, and everyone's like, oh, wow.
Chosen one.
The chosen one. Whereas Heinrich Himmler and Krell, I don't know that story. I've never heard this thing before. But maybe you wouldn't try. I like Heinrich Himmler and Krell, so why would you bust out a Heinrich Himmler and Krell story unless it was from just some weird fucking book that I haven't read? I don't know. I'm going to say Sigmar is real, and he has the blood baby, even if he didn't kill the orc. And Weekend at Bernie's is not real. That's Yourhammer. The other one is Lorehammer.
Okay. Well, then I can reveal to you, Tom, that you're correct.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Now, I want to talk about Heinrich for a second.
Tell me about Heinrich. I love him.
There's a 3-part thing, old scenario pack that I don't want you to read.
Oh shit! Okay.
Starting with Terror of the Lich Master, right? So I've read these 3 campaign books that all connect together, and they tell the origin story of Heinrich and Krell. One of these guys is OG Krell. I think it's this one.
They got rid of Flaming Jeff and Larry and just left him with Krell. God, they're a good little fucking team.
So what I thought I'd do is for the next like 3 weeks, I'm always going to have a Heinrich story.
Oh, okay.
And you'll have to decide which one's true and which one's not.
Old Heinrich Hammer is pretty fucking tiny. He's a cool model, though.
Yeah.
Man, that Heinrich Hammer is great. I love him.
He's a good boy.
Okay. Right. Do you want a tail?
Hit me. What do you need?
Okay. What? Warhammer Emperor. Fantasy Emperor. Sure. Okay, so this isn't about Carl Franz, but it is about just an emperor in the Warhammer Fantasy world.
Sure.
Are you familiar with the 1675 ear tax riots?
Oh my God.
In Warhammer Fantasy,
Yeah.
there were riots in 1675, which I think is about 900 years before where we are in the Warhammer world.
Yeah.
I think we're in like 2500 now.
Yeah. Sure.
Because as a popular fashion thing, young nobles were cutting off their ears. And to try and get rid of this distasteful practice, people then would get taxed if they were missing ears. And this led to the 1675 ear tax riots.
Oh, where poor ear decapitation people were like, well, I lost my ear in battle. I can't afford this tax.
Yeah, and they all got taxed.
Wow. What happened? Did they keep the tax? Or did the riots end it?
I have no idea.
Okay. Wow.
There are riots.
Why was that fashionable? Did like a cool guy lose an ear and then everyone wanted to look just like him? Is it like old Toddy's knifey eye game?
It's like Toddy's knifey eye. You know, it's just like it's just a cool thing. You know, people like people like their ears.
People like to look cool.
It's cool.
Man, it would suck if you wore glasses.
It'd be really hard. Although you could get the little ones that just sit on your nose.
Oh, that's true.
Or like you have like the little engineer's cap and they like flick down.
That's good.
Okay, so number one is the ear tax riot.
Okay, hit me with number two.
We'll just have like at
Yes.
Oh, sure, that's how you spell it. Okay, this guy.
Sure.
So, are you familiar with the Adeptus Mechanus Explorators?
Yeah. They go find new planets and shit.
So, they go and find new planets. Now, this is the tale of, I'm going to call him like Bonkos 409 is going to be his name because I don't know what his
They've always
fucking
dumb
stupid name
names.
is. And so, there's this guy, Bonkins 409, and he goes with a bunch of Grey Knights to this Forge world that has just appeared out of the warp.
Wow.
And they're like, this shit has been missing for a long time. There's going to be some good tech here. And he goes in and he plugs in his Librarium Cogitator or whatever the fuck you call those. And he is like interfacing and they're like, hurry the fuck up. There's demons and shit around. There's spooky demons. There's like heretics. And so he plugs in and he finds like STCs and is like, holy shit, this is good. But he also gets infected with data demons. So this is really about data demons.
Sure.
Plot twist. Are you familiar with data demons, Ben?
Oh, I'm sure it's just spiritually corrupt code that can infect his mechanical bits and turn him into a bad man.
So basically, yeah, data demons, pretty bad bad news. So it is demons, but they're like
They've manifested in
like
the network.
Yeah, they're like code demons, and so this guy Bonkins 409, he is like, holy shit! If I'm surrounded by a bunch of Grey Knights.
Yeah, they're going to purge his ass.
If I tell them I've got data demons,
I've caught fucking binary herpes.
they are not going to be very chill.
Sticking your dick in things, Admex.
And so they go back he gets like the code. They go back to their spaceship. There's other story stuff going on. I don't know. There's something like fucking. They're making warlord titans on the planet. But he's back on the space boat, and he's like, I can purge the data demons. He plugs it into their computer, and then suddenly they hear like banging coming from the side room, because this was like a Emperor's Children place, and so there was a lot of like Slaneshi data demons, or just Slanesh stuff going on, and the data demons have gone and infected all of their servitors, who are trying to act on.
They're having an orgy. Is it a big servitor gangbang?
They're trying to act on their primal urges because the data demons have overridden their like inhibitors,
their mind wiping shit.
Their last remnants of brain is now firing on all cylinders, and you basically have he downloaded porn and got a virus, and all of the servitors decided to try and fuck.
Amazing. I love it. Then what happened? They all get purged?
Oh, then everyone dies. The Grey Knights were not very chill.
Right. Awesome. Oh my god, so which is true? They both could be true. They're in keeping.
So ear tax. Or demon titty, big titty porn.
Just fucking servo bangs. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, oh, that's not how you spell it. Servo 1240K. No, that's Sevatar. Oh, why can't I? Oh, fuck me.
A stroke?
I am, yeah. Can you just type in the word servitor? Because I'm losing my mind.
Servitor, like that? Is that how you spell it?
Hey, there we go.
Enough. We got there in the end.
Yeah, these guys banging. Not a pretty sight.
So they lobotomize these dudes, then put some things, because you can't have robots. Robots are bad.
Yeah, AI bad, but reprogrammed humans.
That's fine.
That's A-okay. Oh, man. It's too sexy. It's too Tom and Ben. The getting a fucking porn virus and bringing it home it's too Tom and Ben. I think that's Yourhammer, and ear taxes sounds about right for the Empire in Warhammer. Like, holy shit, some dickhead cuts his ear off and everyone Emperor's New Clothes it and does the same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna say ear taxes Lorehammer.
Sexy servitors.
Sexy servitors is your wild fantasies gone rogue.
You're right, Ben. We both kind of did good or bad this week.
Yeah.
The sexy servitors. That was all made up.
I like it. It felt like it could be true.
But so there was a story of like data demons, but like specifically corn data demons that got into some servitors and made them all like ultra violent.
Oh wow! Okay.
But I was like, what if it was a little bit sick?
Yeah.
What if it was a Slanesh
substitute?
And they all got a little bit more erotic.
Oh man, pneumatic.
Oh yeah, you don't want this. This guy, that clamping around you, and then
needle clamp.
the penetrator kicking in.
Oh, thank you. But then what would you rather have, the clamps or the claws?
Oh.
I don't know if there's a good option here, or this guy's tender touches.
Oh. I don't know if I want any of them.
The electroflails?
Sure, electroflail I can get into. Actually, fuck it. Just multi-melter me.
Just end it.
Just fucking multi-melter me right in the butt, and because I don't think I'm going to feel it for very long.
Yeah.
I think I will evaporate within like a fraction of a second.
I'm going for this guy.
Oh, he's just like stuck there. Just bobbing around.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, so the ear tax.
Yeah, tell me more about the ear tax.
So it was a thing where it's from the Witch Hunter's Handbook,
Of course.
where some witch had overheard people making fun of her big ears. And so she cast a spell which made everyone's ears rot off in this town.
Oh.
News had got back to Altdorf, where it became such a titillating story that young nobles decided to cut off their own ears.
Fuck me. You left all of this out because it would sound too dumb.
It sounds too dumb. So then the Emperor introduces a missing ear tax, which leads to the 1675 ear tax riots, which that alone sounded amazing.
Go down in infamy.
Which I love is Warhammer lore, the ear tax riots. Watch out for those.
Yeah, they'll get you.
So yeah, pow. That was